Hey guys, welcome to my garage. Today I'm going to show you how I make all of my own lead jig heads. My swim bait heads, my Ned heads, my swim jigs, my Arky jigs, my football jigs, any of the lead jigs out there, you can buy a mold and make them yourself. So today I'll show you how I do it. This is not necessarily an instructional how-to. I am not a professional. I am sure I will miss a few things. But if you have any questions, make sure you hit me down in the comments and I'll be sure to answer them. Well, let's get started. Okay, let me start off by saying if you hear the fan noise in the background, I apologize, but obviously we're melting lead, and when you're working with something like that, you need to make sure you're in a well-ventilated area. I'm in my garage. Usually I have 3 or 4 fans going, but that would be too loud. I got a fan right next to me, and I think that'll be sufficient. I've also got my face covered, so if my voice sounds a little muffled, again, I apologize, but safety first, right? Alright, so first thing we did is we kept the lead nice and hot. I did that off camera because it does take 10 or so minutes for the lead to get hot. And I did also put a little wax in there. And what I do is you take one of your wife's kitchen spoons and you scrape all the junk off the top of that, so you're left with nice clean lead to pour. Today I think we're going to go with the swim bait heads. So I'm going to grab my swim bait head mold. I got a few of them up here. Alright, and the first thing I like to do is sit my mold on top of my lead pot so it can start heating up. A hot mold is going to mold better. Okay, what I like to do next is, even though it's been sitting on top of the mold and it's still pretty warm, I like to pour a few empty, no hooks, no nothing in them, just pour some empty cavities and really get them nice and warm. The warmer they are, you see I'm having a hard time kind of get those out. The warmer they are, the easier they'll pop out. Also, the better they'll mold. It'll be an overall better product. And I'm only filling the first 3 cavities because that's all I'm going to use today. I've got 4/0 and 5/0 hooks. That's going to make me some 1/4 inch, some 3/8, and some 1/2 inch baits. And the lead's all reusable once you get them out of the mold. You just pop them back in there. Alright, so like I said, I'm going to do the 1/4, 3/8, and 1/2 ounce, which are going to require 4 and 5/0 hooks. I have Mustad brand hooks. They're really good quality. I've never had any kinds of issue with them. And this really is a simple process. I'm going to take my 4/0 hook, and I'm going to very carefully, because the mold is really hot now, place it in there. See if I can do this on camera. I am filming this myself, so excuse the footage. And I'm going to take a 5/0 hook and drop it in that slot. And a 5/0 hook in the 1/2 inch slot. It's important to get these lined up well, or the mold won't close and you'll spill lead everywhere. Now, a lot of the different molds have extra parts. In this case, they have this little keeper for your soft plastics, and it's actually a double keeper. It's really good. It tends to tear the plastics after a few fish, but it holds on there the whole time you're fishing with it until it starts to tear. And this is like the tedious part, just trying to make sure they're in there, make sure they're lined up. Okay, once you got them in there, you give the mold a close, and you can check. If you look up on top here, there is no seam. So that is nice and tight. Then, we just get set up where we need to be set. Pour in some lead. Well, there you go. Easy. Then you're just going to kind of... This is a really tough one to demold, but as you can see, they still pop right out. With a little bit of patience and finesse. And there we go. Okay, now that you got your jigs out of the mold, you take what's called a sprue cutter and you cut off the sprue. It's just a little leftover part left from the molding process. These things make short work of it. It's pretty simple. And what I like to do from time to time is I come through here and I just check where I cut, and if it's a little rough, I just file it down a little bit. It doesn't take much. Lead is really, really soft metal. And it's a completely unnecessary step. I don't think the fish care. But if you're going to do something, you know, do it right. Okay, now I keep a few colors of this powder paint in stock. Really cool stuff. Really easy to use and really gives a professional look that I guess makes the fish bite them, right? That's why they sell this stuff. So, bad part about doing this on camera is I got to heat up the lead heads to do it. This thing's going to make a lot of noise. So I'm going to try to figure out a way to edit that so it's not too bad. But basically the process is that I'm going to take my hemostats and one of my jig heads. Okay, what we're going to do is want to hold it over the heat gun to get it nice and warm, and then we're just going to dip it right into one of these colors. Be right back. Actually, let me show you how some of this works. This is the actual powder paint itself. You give it a good shake because you want it nice and loose in there. Now, if you've seen other videos, you'll see people using what's called a fluid bed. I do intend on making one at some point, but for right now, the small amounts that I do, this is sufficient. And you just want to make sure it's nice and powdery. You don't want it all clumpy and lumped, right? And then, like I said, here comes the loud noise. We're going to heat up the jig head. How long you keep it over the heat, it's kind of trial and error. But enough to get it nice and hot. If the paint goes on nice and even, you did it right. If it starts smoking when you put it on, you might have it a little too hot. All right, let's try that. Let's give it a dip. Shake off the excess. Say a little smoke coming off, so I might have been a little too hot there. But check that out. Let's try a different color. Let's see. Watermelon flake. That's a good one. All right. Sorry for the noise. Let's try that. Yeah, it doesn't take much. And there we go. Watermelon flake. Let's see, I think we'll just do some regular watermelon next. Bang. Next step is you get yourself a little toaster oven. You can do it in your regular oven, but if it drips, your wife gets really, really mad at you. So I don't suggest that. This little toaster oven was like 20 bucks at Walmart. That's probably the way you're going to want to go. This is an extra step. You don't have to do it. I like to. What you do is you put it in here, 350 degrees for 15 minutes. Probably would help if it was plugged in. There we go. So 350 degrees, 15 minutes. When that goes off, what that does is cures and hardens that powder paint, makes it less susceptible to chipping. Okay, now that you got your jig heads out of the oven, looking good. The powder coat is nice and hard now. It's already got that beautiful gloss on it. Really nice, really professional. Looks great. Missing one more thing, and that's going to be the eyes. To put in the eyes, you'll need eyes. You can buy these online. They're dirt cheap. So many different kinds and styles. You really can get creative with that. I use an X-Acto knife and some Gorilla Glue gel. This is for putting on the jigs, not in your hair. I feel like I have to say that. It's sad that I have to say that, really. Alright, so I also find it helps to pick your eye first and get it up on your X-Acto knife. You only want it like just on the little edge there, because you're going to want to place it in here pretty easily. And then, now these are self-adhesive eyes, but I like to add the glue. Just a tiny drop. Set your eye in there. It dries clear, so it's okay if it's not perfectly clean. It's not a problem. Get my other eye ready. Another little dab of the glue. And I find you got to get the eye ready first, otherwise that glue will dry up on you at some point. And if you're trying to fiddle with the eyes, come back and realize your eye socket is completely glued shut. It kind of stinks. But there we go. That is the finished swim bait head, complete with eyes, just as good as anything you're going to find in the store. And you made it yourself. Okay, now that you got your swim bait head made, let's see. There you go. It's all dry, the glue is dry, the eyes are in, we're in good shape. Open your box of way too many swim baits. Pick out something that looks good. I think with the green pumpkin, I'm gonna go with these Kitex. Yeah, I think that'll look good. Thread it on. Probably a little straighter than that, but I think you guys get the idea. And there you go. That thing's gonna look great.